Hey, what's up guys, it's Aladin. We finally got to see the last war between Dany and Cersei, and I honestly have no idea how to feel about this. There was a ton of stuff that really got me heated and pissed off, especially on Dany's side. Now this episode in my opinion was by far the worst when it came to writing. The acting, cinematography, and visuals were all top notch, but when it came to the writing, I just think it was poorly done. Also, this video will contain a lot of spoilers, so if you guys haven't seen the episode yet, I suggest clicking away and watching it later when you guys get the chance. But before I get started, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. It definitely helps out the channel grow and lets others like you stay tuned with the latest shows and movies. And also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys can get notified right away when I drop my next video. Going into this episode, I did expect Dany to be broken and devastated after what happened in episode 4. Her best friend died and she lost another one of her dragons due to Euron, causing her to isolate herself and even avoid everyone's advice. Dany really loses herself in this episode, which makes you wonder, was she really the big bad guy all along that we were rooting for? Now this episode started off with Varys writing letters about Jon's true parentage, which most likely he was planning on sending them out to all the other kingdoms and lords to let them know who the true king should be. Tyrion finds Dany and tells her how someone betrayed her, and Dany says Jon, but Tyrion says no, Varys. She goes off by saying Jon betrayed me because I begged him not to tell Sansa and Arya, and he did, and Sansa now told you, and you told Varys, and now you have information that can bring me down. Tyrion simply tells her I would never do that to you, you are my queen, but Dany just didn't seem fazed and was fed up with all of it. Now Varys also knew this was treason and would end up having him betray Dany, but at the same time he still went with his plan to tell everyone who should actually sit on the Iron Throne. Grey Worm comes in and takes Varys in chains and then takes him outside where Jon, Dany, and Tyrion are all waiting for him to be executed. Tyrion walks up to him and tells him, yeah, I snitched and I told her that you were plotting against her, and then Varys says, I hope you're right about Dany not doing anything stupid when going after Cersei. Dany looks at Varys and tells him, you betrayed me and now you are sentenced to die. Drogon slowly comes out from the darkness and Dany calmly says, Dracarys, and burns Varys alive. His death didn't really shock me just because we knew that he was gonna die this season, but I am glad that he did die without apologizing for his actions for what he did. Jon and Dany have another one-on-one conversation again. Dany tries to have a moment with him, but Jon slowly pushes himself away from her and says, you are my queen. What really bothers me is the fact that Jon has been saying that every single time he's with her, like his dialogue with her is complete shit. He doesn't say anything useful really besides, you are my queen, I don't want the title, and blah blah blah. That's what really bothers me this season, is just the writing right now. I just wish they could have taken their time and wrote something actually meaningful and useful. Later on we see Tyrion in the throne room with Dany and Grey Worm, where Tyrion is begging Dany to not do anything that she might regret later on, meaning don't burn down King's Landing just for one person. He wants her to think about other outcomes if possible than automatically burning down the city. That's why he's asking if they surrender and give her the city, let's just stop there. Tyrion also frees Jaime from getting captured. He tells him to go and get Cersei and leave Westeros as soon as possible. This is automatically treason on Tyrion now if Dany finds out that he let his brother go. She told him this was his final warning, and now it definitely does look like Tyrion might die next episode. Tyrion gives Jaime a final hug and thanks him for everything he's done for him, as well as protecting him from everyone that looked upon him. Dany finally arrives at King's Landing, but before she does, she flies high enough in the air where Euron and his fleet won't see her coming, and then surprise attacks them and burns all of his ships in a matter of seconds. What made no sense here is the fact that last episode we saw Euron's fleet take out Dany's ships like it was nothing, as well as taking out one of her dragons too, and now we have Dany destroying all of Euron's ships like it's nothing. All of the ships even had scorpions, and now one of them even hit Drogon once. She ends up going from the back of King's Landing and then burns down the entrance where the Golden Company were waiting, giving the cue for her army to siege King's Landing now. I thought that was the biggest joke of the episode, that they literally got the Golden Company, who are one of the ruthless skilled mercenaries out there, and then got demolished in a matter of seconds by the Dothraki, the Unsullied, and the Northern Men. Also, this seemed to showcase a shit ton of the Dothraki here. I honestly thought all the Dothraki were dead after the Battle of Winterfell when they charged at the dead. Dany ends up demolishing all of Cersei's men to the point where Jon, Grey Worm, and Ser Davos are looking at all of the Lannister army debating what they're gonna do next. Eventually, Cersei's army surrenders and throws their swords down, giving them a relief that it's over. They even rung the bells, which is what Tyrion wanted all along. He knew if they rung the bells that the city surrendered and that the war would be over. It was so close to being over until Dany started looking at the Red Keep where she lost her shit. At this point, it was personal for her, and that's where she decides to go full out Mad Queen. I got so mad and heated just because everything that she's been preaching about protecting the innocent people and wanting a good future just went all down the drain. She burns down the whole city like it's nothing and kills hundreds and thousands of innocent people and grandchildren. I was truly pissed off just because this isn't Dany's character. I really feel like the writers for this season just rushed her character arc and just wanted to find a way to kill her off right away. Even Jon had a hard time taking all this in. He couldn't even bear to understand what the hell Dany was doing. They surrendered and yet she still ended up killing them and burning them all. Jon even told his men to stay back and not fight. For a second also, I thought Grey Worm would fight Jon since he told his men to stay back. Grey Worm went all in and gave no shits about what he was doing. All he was seeking to do was kill and get revenge for what they did to Missandei. I won't say he was in the wrong here just because I see where he's coming from, but the fact that Cersei's army surrendered and they still killed them just pisses me off. I know Jon right now is regretting ever telling Dany about himself and maybe even bending the knee to her. He always believed that she would be different and have a better approach at ruling, but it seems like that was just a lie. We finally saw the two brothers, the Hound and the Mountain, go at it. This was probably one of my favorite parts of the episode since we've all been rooting for this to happen since their first encounter back in season 1. Both of them were beating the shit out of each other like it was nothing. The Hound ends up stabbing the Mountain numerous times, but he just wouldn't go down. He even jammed a sword through him, but he still kept walking. The Mountain eventually shoves him down the stairs and takes off all his armor, waiting for the Hound to get up. He picks the Hound up and hits him a little more and then decides to jam his fingers into his eyes like he did to Oberyn Martell in season 4 episode 8. It looked like he got the Hound pretty good, but the Hound somehow jams a dagger right into his eyes and then tackles him through the wall where both men go down into the burning fire. I thought personally that was a great way for the two to go, honestly. I'm glad the showrunners at least gave us this where they didn't mess it up. Arya also ends up getting in a little trouble from all the debris and fire that Dany and Drogon are making in the city. She tries to get away and find shelter, but everywhere that she goes is either crumbling down or getting on fire. Eventually, she does survive this aftermath from Dany and rides off on a mysterious horse that is just waiting there for her. I personally have no idea what the hell that was just because that horse came out of nowhere. I do hope now that Arya does something to Dany, whether it being her killing her off or confronting her. Arya will not sit back and let this slide with Dany. Jaime and Euron also have a one-on-one fight. Euron ends up beating the shit out of Jaime and even stabs him twice, where for a second I thought he was gonna die like that, but it was not until Jaime got back up and jammed his sword right into Euron's stomach. I really didn't like the outcome for the two just because I thought that was rushed and they were just trying to find a quick way to kill off Euron. Luckily, Jaime did survive and he does head into the Red Keep to find Cersei. He ends up finding her in the same spot where he also told her that he was leaving to go north to fight the dead. Cersei is relieved to see him and can't believe that he's there with her. Jaime tells her that we gotta go, so he takes her down underneath the Red Keep. Eventually, due to all the buildings collapsing on top of the Red Keep, the tunnels that Jaime is trying to get Cersei out get blocked from the debris. Jaime tells Cersei that everything will be fine, but sadly, as the tunnels start collapsing, Jaime holds on to Cersei and tells her to look at him and not to worry at all. Moments later, the ceiling collapses on both of them. I'm just gonna say they both deserve to die with one another, but Cersei's death was complete shit and bogus. She deserved a far worse death than that. But this episode just felt rushed and incomplete, from the plan itself to the destruction of Dany. I admired the acting and the visuals itself, but the writing was complete ass and a joke. 8 damn seasons and we get this. Basically, you're telling me all along Dany was the monster here and the main villain. I just don't understand when you have 2 years to write a perfect story and a final for this season and you end up throwing it all away to make some mediocre shit. Like, come on man, this episode really just ruined it for me. Game of Thrones is still my favorite TV show hands down, but the writing for this season is just a joke and nothing else. I have no idea what to expect next episode. I really don't. I'm just hoping now they don't mess it up with some corny shit. I really want to see the outcome of this, but I just feel like I'm gonna be let down and disappointed. I'm just lost for words, that's all. Not saying this is a complete trash season, but holy shit, make the writing at least good. Everything else is top notch, just the writing is garbage. But this is just how I feel right now, guys. But tell me, how did you guys feel about this episode and what did you guys think about it? Did you guys like it or were you disappointed like me? Leave all your comments in the comments section and let me know what you guys thought. I just want to say thank you all for watching, and if you haven't already, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't by now. If you don't mind, share the video if you thought it was good and want others to see it. Watch my other videos containing Game of Thrones Season 8 in the next video. Thank you all once more and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.